Welcome back, noble one, to Whispers of the Ancient Fire. We continue our story in desert and plain. Our foe be greed atop a black train. Our friend, our lass, was taken in fright. We go to save her by horse and winged flight. The heart is torn from its resting stone. Earthquake and calamity if left alone. So get comfortable, my noble friend, as we finish the tale of the desert's near end. In the distant hills of Death Valley, we return to the mining town of Cerro Plata, where the dust has barely settled and the ground still remembers its quaking. Our heroes have escaped the worst of the turmoil, and yet the day is far from done. Twahir turns to you. His great wings are folded tight at his sides, his sharp eyes heavy with resolve. I gave my word to Onondagas that no harm would reach Terra while breath still stirred in my lungs. The words hang in the air between you. That vow remains, and I mean to keep it. Fen, the chestnut horse, steps forward. Her hooves crunch softly in the grit, her mane unkempt and wind-worn. I can't abide Baudry taking more innocence. Her ears pin back. That Silver Baron's hurt enough people. She exhales, steady and certain. The train's bound for San Francisco. He has built it special, fast, quiet, meant for silver runs under cover of night. I've hauled Galena onto it myself. Fen looks between you both. If we move now, we can still catch him. Twahir's eyes widen. Then we waste no time. He turns to you. Mount up, name bearer. His gaze sharpens. I will take to the sky. Terra and the Emberheart cannot stray far, lest calamity befall us all. With a powerful sweep, Twahir's wings beat against the air. Wind and dust spiral outward in small whirlwinds as he launches skyward, rising above rooftops and ridge alike. You swing onto Fen's back. Her warm hide shifts beneath you, her mane brushing your face. Hold tight. She surges forward, hooves striking hard as she bolts toward the edge of town. Trail of dust rolling behind you as townsfolk turn to watch. In the square, the wounded animals lie calm now. The ones once driven too hard in the silver mine. They stretch in the open air, soaking in the sunlight they were long denied. Whiskin, the red fox Twahir healed, pads across the square and stops before Cornelius Underwood, bartender of the American Hotel. The fox lifts a paw and taps gently at Cornelius's trouser leg. Thank you. Cornelius kneels, surprised but smiling. We couldn't have driven Baudry without your courage, Whiskin says. My name is Whiskin. Cornelius. I couldn't stand aside once I saw the truth. He nods toward the town. And neither could the rest of us. Sheriff Flores and what's left of the mean 13 won't get far. Townsfolk will see to that. Cornelius rises and turns to the gathered townspeople. I reckon someone gotta carry the weight of what comes next. He takes a breath. And if no one else is willing, I'll do it. A pause. If that makes me your mayor, so be it. His voice firms. First thing we do is tend the wounded, all of them. 4 legs, 2 legs, doesn't matter. This town's broken. It's time we start mending. From the edge of the square, medicine men and patriarchal shamans step forward. Townsfolk follow, hands ready with cloth, herbs, and water. And in that moment, Cerro Plata began to change, not because of the love of silver, but because of the trust that was established by Mayor Underwood. The midsummer sun was sinking low across the flat desert horizon. The land had slowly changed beneath the chase. Orange rock and open sand giving way to coarse dirt, scattered pine, and darker soil that held the day's heat longer. Fenn's hooves beat hard beneath you, steady and relentless. A rhythm set on one purpose alone, reach the black train. Twahir swooped lower beside you and Fenn. In the long weeks of desert travel, you had seen him soften his stiff, regal bearing, especially in Tara's presence. But this was different. His eyes were sharp with worry now, his feathers drawn tight against his frame.
Thus far the train hath slipped my sight. Mayhaps when we crest yon hill.
His voice carried the weight of fatigue, deep and measured. Fenn's breathing had grown heavy. Each pull of air came harsher than the last, her lungs still bearing the scars of months spent drawing smoke from mine torches and candles. You feel worry tighten in your chest. Suddenly, Twahir lets out a sharp, ringing cry, airy, but loud enough to cut through the wind. Beyond the rise of the hill, just coming into view, the black steam train thundered forward, its smokestack billowed with furious force. Great plumes of dark ash climbing skyward. For a moment, it looked less like a machine and more like a moving eruption.
The Emberheart doth make grandiose work of that engine,
Twahir said, beating his wings harder.
It shall not be long afore it gains yet more haste.
He angled closer to Fenn.
Lose not thy strength now, good mare.
One last push. One last push. Fenn muttered to herself, breath ragged but unyielding. The ground fell away beneath you as the hill dropped sharply, and the caboose rushed closer with alarming speed.
Remember what I told you,
Fenn shouted over the roar.
No matter the outcome, you come find me at Awani village in Yosemite Valley. My family will see you cared for.
Twahir landed atop the roof of the caboose in a single controlled motion and turned back toward you.
Hold fast to the ladder. May the Great One be with you.
With a final surge of strength, Fenn lunged forward and gave a slight buck of her back to help you clear the gap. You leap. Your fingers scrape iron, then catch. You cling to the ladder as the wind tears past you, your body swinging hard before you begin to climb. You are on the train. As you pull yourself higher, you glance back. Fenn's form is already shrinking against the land. She rears briefly onto her hind legs, waves her forehooves, and lets out a sharp, proud whinny before turning away.
Allow me, lad.
Twahir grips the collar of your shirt, firm and careful, and hauls you fully onto the roof. Not remains, but entry by the cupola. Twahir nods toward the small hatch atop the car. You step over, grasp the cold metal handle, and lift it slowly. You peer inside. The space below is empty. You climb down, and Twahir follows. The caboose car had once served as a moving office and living quarter for the conductor. A desk cluttered with papers stood against one wall. A marrow bunk lay opposite. A small stove sat cold in the corner, flanked by spare lanterns and oil tins.
What's the plan?
You ask, still catching your breath.
I know thou hast never been one for open combat,
Twahir said quietly.
Yet what lieth ahead shall demand not strength alone, but wit and restraint.
You glance down at yourself, feeling the weight of his words.
Our means are slender,
Twahir continued.
What I would wish for thee is a good pair of talons. They have ever served me well.
You turn, scanning the car, and then you see it. Familiar, unmistakable. Tara's backpack and her utility belt. Twahir sees it too.
They must have wrested it from her upon boarding,
he said, low and astonished.
Never have I known her depart from it by choice.
A rare note of pride entered his voice.
No longer are we without means. Tara kept what any soul might need.
You open the pack. Inside, beneath neatly kept tools and pouches, you find a solid hunting knife, larger than you expect, its handle worn smooth with use.
Methinkest thou shalt not need to wield that blade, Twahir said. Yet it is a fine thing to have, should need press upon thee.
You sling the pack over your shoulders, tightening the straps until it sits right. You fasten the utility belt around your waist and slide the knife into its sheath. For a brief moment, you wonder what Tara would say if she saw you wearing her things. You lift your gaze.
On to the next car,
you say.
With care,
Twahir replies. When the caboose door was opened, harsh wind tore through the narrow space. Beyond it, the land had fully changed. Tall pines and dense forests rushed past in streaks of green and gold. The sun hung low, its final light slipping between the trees and catching on bark and needle as the day slowly bled away. The train was moving faster now, faster than any train you had ever known. You and Twahir step carefully across to the next car, timing your movement to avoid the iron teeth of the coupling below. A round window set into the door gives you a glimpse inside. The car is large, built of thick timber and iron braces, meant to be heavy with silver, but it is nearly empty. Only 2 wooden crates remain. In the far corner, one of Baudry's men, a member of the Mean 13, lies slung in a makeshift hammock. His head rests against the wall, breath slow and uneven. A rifle lies close at hand. You lower your voice. Should we go in? Twahir nods in the affirmative.
I believe those crates carry impure silver.
His eyes do not leave the crates.
If that be so, we have a sacred duty to cleanse it of Baudry's evil deeds,
Twahir says with conviction. What about Tara, the Ember Heart?
Tara would gladly see all of Baudry's hoarded wealth cast from this train, Twahir says quietly. But this is not mere ruin of riches. To cleanse is a gift the Great One hath given to his noble ones,
Twahir continues, with a tone of reverence.
Soon enough you will learn the importance of this. I cannot show you how to cleanse properly, but retrieving the silver and dispelling it off the train will suffice. For another way to cleanse something is to return it to the earth. It may seem nonsense, but this is a matter of great importance.
You still don't quite understand the significance of this action, but you know in good time that you will. Tara and Twahir have never let you down in properly explaining the importance of sacred things, especially when related to the Great One.
Simply we must intrude, Twahir continues. We quietly maneuver those crates and release the silver contents within.
And not get caught, you murmur. Twahir gives a faint nod. You take a steadying breath and reach for the latch. You ease it open, slow and careful. You slip inside and pull the door shut behind you, sealing out the roar of the wind. The guard does not stir. The air inside the car smells of pine wood and old dust, and beneath it, something far worse. A thick, unmistakable stench of iron that resembles blood hangs heavy in the space. Not fresh, but old and clinging, it reeks. You swallow as it settles at the back of your throat. You move toward the crates, each step measured. You kneel beside one on the left and lift the lid slowly. Twahir was right about the crates. Inside lie small silver ingots, dull and weighty. The blood-like smell of iron is stronger here. You open the second crate. Jagged galena fills it, dark, raw, and glittery. It was clear that this silver needed cleansing of the sins that was imbued within. Without a word, Twahir reaches in with his beak and lifts a single small ingot. He turns and places it gently into Tara's backpack, now resting against your back.
I believe we shall have need of that
He whispers.
in a time yet to come.
Nothing more is said. Together, you and Twahir begin to move the first crate. It's heavier than it looks. The wood groaned faintly as it shifted. You pause whenever it threatens to scrape too loudly, listening for breath, for movement. The guard snores softly. Twahir nods. You crack the door open. Wind surges in again, carrying the warmth of the dying sun. You carefully close the door behind you. Twahir lifts the lid, and you both tip the crate. Silver glitters and spills out. The ingots strike iron and vanish into the rushing blur of forest and rail, their sound swallowed almost at once. You freeze. For a heartbeat, you thought you could hear an audible gasp of relief, as if something foul had been lifted away, as if the air was holding its breath and finally released. The second crate is heavier still. Your arms strain as you guide it to the door. Again, you listen. Again, the guard does not wake. Before opening the door again, Twahir glances once more at the sleeping guard. Twahir notices that he was snuggling with a bottle of an unmarked alcoholic drink. Understanding settled in. The guard was out cold. The galena poured out in tumbling shapes, carried away beneath the train, and returned to the waiting earth. This time, the release is stronger. You definitely hear something from the wind. An audible, "Thank you," whispered to you. Twahir smiled and bowed his head in reverence, his feathers brushing his chest, the last light of sunset catching along his crown. The sun, at last sinking beyond the western tree line, clung stubbornly to the world in bands of amber and copper. Its light filtered through the forest in long, slanting rays, catching on pine needles and iron fittings alike. Day had not yet surrendered, but it was clearly losing ground. Still, you and Twahir press forward. You steady yourself and lean close to the round window set in the door of the next car. Through it, the scene inside reveals itself with brutal clarity. Tara. She is bound to a wooden chair near the far corner of the car. Thick rope cinched tight around her wrists, ankles, and waist. A gag is knotted firmly across her mouth. Her clothing is rumpled, dusted with grime. Her posture is rigid and upright. Her eyes are alert, far too alert for someone meant to be kidnapped. Across from her sits one of Beaudry's men, a member of the Mean 13. He occupies his chair with the easy slouch of someone who believes the danger has already passed. A rifle rests across his knees, and his gaze never leaves Tara for long. The train suddenly lurches. The jolt is violent enough to steal your footing. You grab for a metal rail, fingers scraping before catching hold. The force of it rattles through your arms and spine. This is no ordinary sway of tracks. The train is clearly accelerating at speeds that shouldn't be possible. The forest beyond blurs further, trees collapsing into streaks of green and gold. The wheels scream faintly beneath the car, a sound pitched higher than before. "What a strait we now stand within," he murmurs, voice low and heavy. "I know not which path leadeth most surely unto freedom." You draw a sharp breath, lungs still burning. "If I've learned anything from Tara," you say, voice strained but steady, "is that the best way to gain advantage is to choose a path no one else would expect. Twahir turns his head toward you, studying your face. "Aye," he says, after a moment. "Surprise hath undone many a foe who trusted much in strength." He looks again toward the window, toward Terra. "And yet," he continues, softer now, "even the cleverest plan may falter. We stand upon ground that moveth beneath us." His gaze returns to you, and in that look there is an unspoken agreement. "Mayhaps," he says slowly, "we are not meant to plan our way through this hour. Perhaps we are to take only the next right step and trust the Great One to unfold the rest." You nod, feeling something settle in your chest. "One step at a time," you say. The words bring with them an unexpected calm. You do not know how you will save Terra. You do not know how you will retrieve the Ember Heart, but you feel, deeply, undeniably, that you are not abandoned to chance. "The roof, then?" he says. You nod once more. Inside the car, Terra's mind is moving faster than the train itself.
Beaudry has the Ember Heart in the engine car, not secured in a crate, not isolated, on his person, close enough to bleed its power directly into the heart of the engine. That explains the train's acceleration. The Ember Heart does not create heat. It amplifies what already exists. Fire feeds fire, momentum feeds momentum.
Terra thought. Her restraints were thorough. Her ankles, wrists, and waist all tied with competence. Escape by strength or nimbleness was impossible.
Speaking the syllables of the name of power would be pointless even if I were free.
She thought.
The syllables are meant to lift others, not unbind myself. And the gag in my mouth renders such considerations futile.
If I had picked the lock faster, seconds perhaps, I would not be here. My plan was sound. Enter through the south window of Beaudry's mansion. Locate the box, disengage the mechanism, withdraw unseen.
In the corner of Terra's eye, she saw something swoop quickly past the window. The shape was unmistakable.
Twahir!
Terra's heart leaped. Her pulse spiked, but her expression did not change. She shifted her gaze to the guard. He had seen nothing, absorbed in the familiar ritual of polishing his rifle, lulled by speed and false certainty. Twahir and Scrapjack were going to rescue her, Terra thought.
But how?
Her eyes swept the car, cataloging the space, weight, airflow, angle, structures, weak points.
Think, Terra, think!
Then it came to her. She begins to struggle, wildly, desperately. Her movements are sharp, erratic. Her breathing grows uneven, muffled cries forcing themselves against the gag. The guard sighs loudly. "What now?" She screams and jerks harder, then suddenly goes limp. Her head slumps forward. The guard rises at once and quickly crosses the car in 2 strides. He yanks the gag free. "What in the world?" Terra then gasps for air, gulping deeply.
The air!
She chokes.
It's thick. I can't breathe.
The guard scoffs.
"The air's fine."
Oh, I'm sure it is.
She snaps.
But you're not the one tied to a chair and gagged.
Terra said, hamming up her performance.
Loosen these ropes,
she demanded.
A girl has to breathe.
"You must take me for a walnut,"
the guard said in disbelief.
"You are my prisoner. I will not loosen your ropes, nor will I take orders
Open the window then.
Terra interjected.
Keep me tied. Gag me if you want. Just open the window for some fresh air.
The guard hesitates, then moves to the nearest window with a loud thud. Positioned beside the window was a temporary overhead shelf, holding a heavy case and a wooden crate, both secured with thin twine. The guard thought better than to re-gag Terra. He slumped back into his chair to polish his rifle. Everything went exactly how Terra needed it to. All she needed was for the guard to open a window.
Whatever happens next is up to Twahir and Scrapjack.
Tara thought in relief. On the roof, the wind howls mercilessly. You and Twahir cling to iron handholds, bodies pitch low against the speed.
Did they see you?
You shout to Twahir over the loud wind.
I believe as she glanced at me.
Twahir shouted back.
I know not with surety. I passed her window with great haste.
Suddenly, the two of you hear a loud thud over the wind. You lean over the edge of the car and see the open window below.
Our lass is most brilliant,
Twahir says, awe threading his voice. When carefully craning your head over the side of the train to get a better look, you spot a temporary train shelf. It was sitting above the guard, holding up a large case and a wooden crate with only a thin amount of twine. You point it out to Twahir. Tara hoped that the window being open was enough for her friends to rescue her. At that moment, Tara noticed a hand carrying her very own hunting knife slowly moving through the top of the window opening. Tara does not move, does not breathe. Suddenly, the guard stood up from his chair to stretch his arms, but it was too late for him. The hand carrying the large hunting knife had cut the thin twine holding up the temporary shelf. The crate slammed into the guard's shoulder with a sickening crack. He cries out in pain, but remains conscious, staggering.
Now, Twahir!
Tara shouted. It happened in a second, but it went in slow motion. The door behind Tara explodes open. A large wave of wind blasted through the car, and with it, a large bald eagle. Twahir zoomed across the car and with full velocity smacked the conscious guard into unconsciousness with the full weight of his large bird body. Tara stares. She had never seen Twahir fly with such speed. Twahir had gotten up from the guard's face, where he sat, and flapped towards Tara, where he embraced her with his large wings. Tara had never seen this kind of affection from Twahir, the statuesque monolith of her eagle friend. You were able to climb down the car and open the car door on the opposite side. You meet Tara's gaze. You could see in her eyes that your presence meant more than anything in the world.
What have you done, Scrapjack? I think you've softened him since I've been gone.
Tara said, glancing down at Twahir, who is still embracing her. Twahir stood straighter.
I was merely breaking thy bonds,
Twahir said, clearing his throat and then using his beak to snap the ropes that bound Tara. Tara shook her head and smiled. You walk up to her. She is completely unbound now, and she steps up to you. So, are we square? You ask her, clearly as a call back to when Tara broke you out of jail in Des Moines.
You know, Scrapjack, I think we are.
Tara then gently punches your shoulder.
That pack and belt looks good on you. Give it back.
Tara said. You do, gladly. The train's speed was no longer something that could be inferred. It is undeniable. The forest outside was no longer scenery, but a continuous smear of green and shadow. The door to the locomotive, or the engine car, was before them. Tara went to open the door, but found it locked. Her hand pulled away quickly.
The latch is hot to the touch. I can barely touch it.
Tara says, staring at her fingers.
We have not the time for such obstructions,
Twahir shouted, with a sense of urgency neither you nor Tara had seen in him before. Twahir alone truly knew the stakes that the Emberheart not being in its home would bring. So it made all the sense that he felt especially pressed for time.
Tarry ye here,
Twahir shouted before he flapped his great wings. He made his way over to the window of the locomotive and shot his body inside. Before you and Tara knew it, the door to the car opened, with Twahir standing before you. Behind Twahir were two figures who stood still in shock. Quentin Beaudry, who was still holding the Emberheart in his right hand, and Mr. Burling, his butler, who was likely forced to become the engineer in the fury to flee Cerro Plata. Mr. Burling, who didn't have a clue how to operate a steam train engine yesterday, was visibly overwhelmed, hands shaking, eyes darting between gauges he did not fully understand. He was reacting, not driving. Beaudry placed his right hand behind his back to protect what he decided was rightfully his. His pistol remained holstered. He does not feel threatened yet. The smile he offers is thin and empty. You step inside, with Tara close behind you.
So,
Beaudry says mildly.
you have made it this far.
His eyes flick briefly to Twahir, then to Tara. There is no surprise in them, only irritation. Tara steps forward first.
This train is beyond safe limits. Your proximity to the Emberheart is amplifying heat faster than the boiler can compensate. You're not controlling it, you're erasing the margins that keep this machine intact.
Beaudry lets out a soft, humorless laugh.
Ha! You always did like to dress fear up as intelligence,
He says.
margins, limits, safeguards.
He lifts the Emberheart slightly, as though weighing it.
All inventions complain when first put to real use.
Twahir's talons scrape faintly against the metal floor as he shifts.
Thou speakest of living breath as though it were iron and wire.
He says, voice low and controlled.
Such thinking hath undone greater men than thee.
Beaudry turns fully toward him now.
Animals.
He says, the word flat with contempt.
Always animals with you.
He gestures vaguely toward the forest flashing outside.
Do you know what I see when I look at them? Inefficiency, wasted strength, unclaimed labor. They toil without direction, flee without purpose, consume without producing.
His voice grows colder.
Fear teaches obedience, and chains, they create focus.
Tara's jaw tightens, but her voice remains calm. She does not raise her voice.
Release the Emberheart.
She says,
Step away from the boiler. Slow the train. You can still walk away from this.
Beaudry glances toward Burling.
Is it meant to be moving this fast?
He asks casually. Burling swallows. I don't rightly know, sir, he admits.
Let's increase the speed then. We'll be in San Francisco in no time at all.
Hesitantly, Burling reaches for a lever. Twahir moves on instinct. He crosses the space in a blur of feathers and force, striking Burling aside before his hand can complete the motion. Burling slams into the iron bulkhead with a cry, collapsing on the floor. His arm bends at an angle it should not. He screams once, then clutches it, breath ragged. Silence falls. Twahir freezes. He looks at Burling, alive but broken. Beaudry stares at the scene, his facial facade failing to hide his horror. At the same time, both of the previously unconscious guards had made their way behind you and Tara. They only needed to see the scene before them, before deciding where their true loyalties lie.
This ain't worth it no more,
said the first guard.
You coming, Dempsey?
He said to his partner.
Let's go, Jackson. I'm getting too old for this.
Please, take me with you. I'm finished,
Burling said, shaking and pale. He was dragged with them by his good arm. They slunk through to the previous car, presumably to jump off the caboose in a safe manner. Beaudry watches them go, eyes turning red with fury.
Cowards!
He shouts. Tara steps forward again.
This is it. Once the boiler breaches, nothing you do will matter. You're standing at the last moment where choice still exists.
Beaudry turns back toward the engine. He tightens his grip on the Emberheart.
I don't need them,
he said.
My success has always been built by myself.
Beaudry takes a step closer to the boiler. Then he turns back. The motion is quick. His hand drops to his holster, fingers closing around the grip of his pistol. The weapon clears leather with a sharp metallic whisper, and in one smooth motion, he raises it, not toward Tara, not toward you, but squarely toward Twahir. For a breathless instant, nothing moves. The engine roars around you, louder than speech, louder than thought. Steam hisses from the seams along the boiler's length from the immense pressure. The metal casing glows faintly, a dull, unhealthy red near the firebox. Beaudry's eyes are bright now, not afraid, not uncertain, focused.
I warned you,
he said. There is no shouting in his voice.
I warned you what happens when outsiders overstay their welcome.
You feel the train surge again, a sickening lurch forward, faster than before. Ahead of the train, you see a rickety trestle bridge spanning a large, wide gulch. The bridge looms ahead in the tightening of the air, the scream of the rails under impossible speed. Twahir does not speak. He moves. In a blur of feathers and power, he crosses the space between them. Baudry fires, but the shot goes wild, cracking against iron as Twahir's wings slams into his arm. The pistol skids across the floor, spinning, coming to rest near the boiler. Baudry stumbles back, coughing as heat and steam press closer. You see it then, the choice, Twahir's choice. No hesitation, no calculation. Twahir looks at the pistol, then at the boiler, then briefly at Tara. He lunges, snatching the gun from the floor with his nimble talons. He raises the pistol, aims as best as he can, and fires once. The shot sounds like a hammer striking a bell. The bullet punches into the boiler shell near the firebox, where the metal is already strained and glowing from pressure. For half a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then the engine screams. A white jet of superheated steam erupts from the impact point with a shriek like tearing sky. The cab floods instantly with blinding vapor and scalding heat. Gauges shatter, metal groans. Baudry is too close. The steam bursts into his face, his eyes burning, blinding. He screams, a raw animal sound, and staggers back, clutching his eyes. The ember heart slips from his grasp, clattering across the floor, radiating furious glow. Tara moves before thought can stop her. She dives, hands closing around the ember heart. The heart sears her palms, a pain sharp enough to steal her breath, but she does not release it. Her teeth grit, her fingers and palms lock tightly around the rock. The engine howls louder and higher now. The steam jet widens, cutting the breach larger with every second. The boiler casing bulges visibly, metal warping, rivets popping free with sharp percussive cracks. Twahir is already moving. He grabs you and Tara at once, talons locking tight, not gentle, not careful. He spreads his wings, muscles screaming under the strain of heat and speed and the weight of both you and Tara. He launches for the engine car entrance. Steam scorches his feathers. You feel the sudden drop as Twahir clears the doorway and throws himself into the open air. For a heartbeat, you are weightless. Then the world explodes. Behind you, the engine reaches the trestle bridge at full unforgiving speed. The weakened boiler finally gives way. The rupture is absolute. The engine car vanishes in a bloom of fire and iron as the boiler detonates. The blast tears through the trestle's wooden spine, shattering beams, snapping iron supports like twigs. The bridge collapses. Flaming wreckage, engine, rails, timber, plummets into the gulch below, the roar of destruction echoing up the canyon walls. Twahir beats his wings hard, fighting gravity, fighting the pain lancing through scorched muscle. He carries you and Tara, barely, clearing the edge of the gulch as fire and smoke rise beneath you. You cling to Tara and Twahir as he lands hard on solid ground, talons skidding across dirt, root, and stone. Tara kneels beside him, still clutching the ember heart, hands trembling from pain and exertion. It stopped glowing as brightly. Behind you, the gulch burns. The train is gone. Baudry is gone. Everyone is gasping for breath. The three of you crouched in the dirt. The roar of the explosion has faded, leaving only the crackle of distant fire and the soft groan of settling earth and iron below. The train burns in pieces far beneath you, its flames licking upward and casting a restless orange glow. Above it all, the sun is gone. The sky is fully dark now, deep and endless, the moon hanging pale and watchful overhead. Its cold light mixes with the firelight, silver and amber crossing over one another in uneven bands. Smoke drifts upward, thinning as it rises into the night. Twahir lies on the ground, chest heaving. His feathers are scorched in places, singed black along the edges. He does not look at the wreckage, nor at you. Tara is the first to break the silence.
Thank you, both of you.
She moves toward Twahir, her voice steady but soft.
Are you hurt?
She asks, kneeling beside him. Twahir does not meet her eyes. My bodily pain doth not outweigh the moral pain I feel. He finally looks toward the gulch, not at the fire, but at the darkness beyond it. I crossed a threshold this night, he continued, voice low and strained. I did not merely act to preserve life. I chose destruction with knowledge of its outcome. He swallows. Baudry's death resteth upon my wings. The words hang heavy in the air. Tara does not rush to contradict him. She does not deny the truth of what he has said. Instead, she considers it fully, carefully, just as she considers all things. Then she speaks.
You did not choose his death.
She says evenly.
You chose to remove the last restraint from a system he had already made fatal.
Twahir's talons flex against the earth. I knew, he said quietly. I knew what would follow once I shot the bullet. The Great One doth not want any animals such as I to use human tools.
Yes.
Tara replies. She meets his gaze now, unflinching.
And Baudry knew what he was doing when he brought the Emberheart near the engine. He knew when he ignored the limits of the boiler. He knew when he dismissed the warnings of pressure and heat. The difference is that you acted to prevent further harm, while he acted believing harm would never touch him.
Twahir exhales slowly, the sound heavy. I have ever held that no creature may appoint himself judge.
And you didn't.
Tara says.
You didn't decide he deserved to die. You decided that the train could not be allowed to carry that power forward.
She gestures faintly toward the burning wreckage below.
If you had not acted, the train would have reached people, animals, towns. The harm would not have ended with him.
The moonlight catches the edge of Twahir's eye as he closes it briefly.
You are grieving because you did not wish to become a force of finality. That grief means your covenant is intact.
She places a careful hand against his chest, feeling the rapid rise and fall beneath her palm.
If you had hesitated out of fear for your own virtue, others would have paid the cost instead. Not to mention Scrapshack and I may not have made it out alive. You saved us, Twahir.
Twahir was silent for a long moment. The fire below shifted, sending sparks spiraling upward like dying stars. At last, he nodded. Once. Let this burden remain with me, he says quietly, that I may never forget the weight of acting too swiftly. Tara gives a small, solemn nod in return.
You won't,
she says.
I know you.
The heat of the distant flames is warm against your back, the night air cool on your face. Above you, the moon watches. Below you, the world bears a fresh scar. The Emberheart rests heavy in Tara's hands, dimmer now, quieter, but far from home.
We need to get this back to Serra Plata, back into the mines. I'm sure Cornelius is getting tired of earthquakes.
Tara said, with a smirk. Let us tarry. Let me rest, and I shall return the Emberheart on the morrow. We have a new journey upon my return, Twahir says, with a hint of fatigue he could not hide this time. That's right. We've been invited to the Awani village in Yosemite Valley. Fen asked us to stay there, you say, also with a hint of fatigue.
A horse village, huh?
Tara says with a look of concern.
I owe the horses of this world an apology for now. I don't plan on riding anything that fast ever again.